Greetings and welcome to Using the TI-84 Plus. I'm your presenter, Lynn Mann. We're going to be talking about building confidence intervals using proportion. I want to run through building a confidence interval for a proportion two different ways. First, I'm going to use the pre-programmed function in the TI-84 Plus to show you how to do it very quickly. The second way I'm going to show you is, well, I'm going to have to do this kind of manually for those of you that don't have the TI-84 because it's very important where you get your parentheses. So I want to show you the long way and the short way. So first of all, let me talk about the problem we're going to work with. The Berkman Center for Internet and Society at Harvard recently conducted a study analyzing the privacy management habits of teens internet users. In a group of 50 teens, 13 reported having more than 500 friends on Facebook. Use the +4 method to find a 90% confidence interval for the true proportion of teens who would report having more than 500 Facebook friends. I'm going to run through the long way first. That way you can really appreciate the power of the TI-84 Plus. Because I'm using the +4 method, I am going to adjust things slightly. First of all, my X value is 13. I need to bump this up by 2 using the +4 method. My N value is 50. Bump this up by 4. My X value I will be using is 15. My N value I will be using is 54. Now I want to calculate P prime and Q prime. P prime is the 15 divided by 54. And Q prime is 1 minus this. So 1 minus the previous result of 0.2778. So our P prime is 0.2778 and our Q prime is 0.7222. Now what is our Z? If we want to build a 90% confidence interval, I'm going to use 1.645 as my Z-score. I have my Z. It's a common one, so it's one of those things that you just kind of memorize over time. I have my P prime. I have my Q prime. Now I'm ready to calculate my error. My error is going to be my Z, 1.645 times the square root of, now my numerator is going to go all into a parenthesis. My P prime is 0.2778 times my Q prime of 0.7222, that is all my numerator, divided by my N of 54. That is all inside the square root. Now, this calculator, I have to get out of the square root by hitting the arrow. If you do not have a calculator that does that, then you're going to have to add a few more parentheses. One in the very front. So I would have to go right in the front and I would have to enter a parenthesis, so I'd have these double parentheses, and one at the very end to be able to do this calculation correctly. So it's very important where you have your parentheses. Have a parenthesis around the whole entire thing that's inside your square root. Have a parenthesis around your numerator, and you could even have parentheses around your denominator. There's no harm, no foul there. And I get my error of 0.1003. Now that I know my error, I'm going to find my low end of my confidence interval and my high end of my confidence interval by taking my P prime and subtracting out my error, and then taking my P prime and adding my error. So 0.2778 minus my 0.1003. My low bound is going to be 0.1775. Taking my 0.2778 plus the 0.1003. The high bound is 0.3781. So my confidence interval would look like this. All right. So my low bound versus my high bound. And I would still have to interpret this. So I would say we are 90% confidence that between 17.8 and 37.8% of all teens would have reported having more than 500 Facebook friends. Now let me show you how to do this programmatically. I know what my X value is adjusted. That was 15. I know my N value adjusted is 54. So I'm going to go to Stat. I'm going to go to Tests, and there are a whole bunch of tests. Be careful not to choose any of these, either 5 or 6, proportion z-test or proportion z-test. So if I go into one of these, you're going to see this is not the area you want. So just get out of there. Go back into Stat. I just wanted to show you because I've done this in the past and I get too anxious and I grab the wrong test. So really where it is if you click up, we want this A test, proportion Z int. Proportion Z int. So one value of X, proportion Z. So I'm going to go down to A. I could also type in A by using my alpha A. That might be faster. And go enter. Now it wants my X value, 15, my N value of 54, and make sure you have your right confidence interval of 0.90, and hit calculate. That's it. Yes, it is very quick. It is very easy. When you're using the TI-84 Plus, it does all the background math for you. I do want to have you look at one thing. See this little icon right here, the P with this little arrow? That is called p-hat. A lot of things that you look up on the internet will use p-hats. Our book uses p-prime, so I'm going to stick with p-prime. Otherwise, that's it. That's how you calculate the confidence interval for a proportion. Use the proportion z-int function under stats and tests. Until next time, be seeing you.